makeup, but you can call me Momo. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you a couple whips I've been working on this month in September. And here we have Well Done Nature by Rita Prince, and I'm coloring this bird. And first of all, I want to start with a little bit of my process while shading an object and how I try to make it look realistic. So I have this bird and I located my sunlight on the left corner, so that's where I have my strongest highlight area. Then I have a shadow area, some reflecting lights, and stronger shadows to add a little bit more depth to the object, in this case the bird. So basically when I start coloring, I try to do in my mind a map in grayscale of the object I want to color, because I don't want to see an object by sections. I want to color the whole body of the object with a consistent shading. So that's what I tried to do here, and that's mostly what I try to do with all of my colorings. So then I picked my colors and I started shading and try to make it look as I had it on my mind. I'll be leaving the colors that I've used in the description down below, but if in case you want to try them. In this case I'm using Chromaflows, and I use a base of alcohol markers, and this page is made, the background is made with soft pastels, in case you are wondering what is that on the background. I try to make sort of a texture on the bird, so I was doing these little strokes to simulate the bird's feathers, but not in the whole body. It just on my highlight areas where you can see some more of the texture, because I didn't want it to go that realistic. And as you saw, I did a thin layer on the lower part of the bird's body. I call it a layer because I'm using a layering technique in this illustration, mostly what I use when I'm coloring, but I did a thin layer, so light pressure on with my medium color on the lower part of the bird's body, because I didn't want it to have stronger highlights in that part. And yeah, at this point I'm just coloring with eye pressure, just adding color little by little, just to map what I had on my mind, or where I wanted my shadows and my stronger shadows to be on this object. And as you can see, I picked my colors at the beginning, but I was missing a lighter tone and a darker tone, and in this case I'll be using some gray to do my darkest shadows. I prefer to start always with my lights, lighter and medium tones while coloring, because it's better for me to add more color until I'm happy with the result than trying to take the color off or maybe erasing. And I made a mistake in this illustration because I tried to use this golden sun color to make a variation on the bird's feathers, but it didn't turn out as I wanted. I forgot that blue and yellow makes green. So yeah, I'll be erasing that on the future. So I try to maintain the grayscale I had on my mind consistent on the illustration. So when I was shading the feathers, I had to make some feathers without a highlight, like completely almost black. Almost dark, and it might seem a little weird while you are shading because you will feel like you're missing something in that part of the illustration. But at the end of your shading and all of the complete body, it will make sense, and it will look more realistic. So at the end, when I tried to erase that part that I didn't like, it still had some color on it that I couldn't take off the page. So I think I might need to add a little bit of yellow on every bird, so they don't look so it looks like I did it on purpose. Next up, I have this coloring book right here. It's Moonbali by Maria Trolle, and I have a wig right here. I only did the background, and I used apertures to do the background. It's only apertures activated with water, and today I'm going to work on the leaves. I'm going to use Polychromos for the rest of the image, I think, because I wanted to do some texture on the leaves, and because it's a hard pencil, you can see the strokes that I'm going to be working on the leaves better than using Prismacolors, and I wanted to test them in this paper. And I did the first leaf out of camera because I wanted to test the colors and if I like the color combination or not. So I'm still using the same color combination, but I want to have some variation in between leaves. So I did the first leaf darker than the one I'm going to color right now, because I'm still having the grayscale mapping in my head in all of the objects around. So I don't want to just shade one leaf without thinking on the rest of the image as a whole composition. So in this one I'm trying to use the same colors, maintaining on one side darker shadows than the other side of the leaf. So yeah, and I'm doing strokes as well because I want to show a little bit of texture on those leaves. In this occasion I'm using sepia instead of the gray that I used on the bird page before to do my shadows, and this is my darkest tone while coloring, because I don't know, I like that color with green. And in this opportunity I started as well basing my flowers with my middle tone, just to see where I want to locate the shadows and the highlights, and then I'm going with my lighter and darker tones, just defining the areas that I already mapped on my leaf. And here I'm just repeating the process. I'm using the same colors, and because I located my light source on the top of the illustration this time, my colors are going to be lighter on this other leaf, and yeah, it's a little bit more of the same. And to make this technique I always try to have my pencils sharp, and while I'm coloring and doing the strokes, I like to rotate my pencil so it's still sharp while I'm doing the strokes, and you can see really defined strokes. Yeah, that's what I think. Now we'll be coloring the stem of this flower, and I'm using the same colors, and I just want to try to make it look with volume and shape. So I'll be doing some shadows and highlights too, like I did with leaves, going upwards and using lighter colors while I'm going up. I don't feel like the leaves and the stem have the same texture, so this time I use white to combine and blend my lightest shade that I had, because I didn't want it to leave some parts just in blank, like with the color of the paper. So I just did a thin layer of my lightest shade, and then I introduced the white to blend everything together and make sort of a pastel-y green color. Now that I'm recording and doing the voiceover, I feel like the last leaf that I did is a little bit too light for the position that in which is placed. So I'll be going back and trying to make it a little bit darker, because I feel like in that spot where that leaf is not as light as is looking right now. So yeah, I'll be changing that. And the next thing I did was to color the leaf where this cute fairy is sitting, and it was kind of tricky because I didn't know how to maintain the texture that I've been doing on all of the leaves, and at the same time doing a good shading, like casting the shadow where, because she's sitting there. So that was kind of tricky, and it was difficult to make it look like the rest, but I still think that looks okay, I guess. And that's the result of this coloring session, and I really like how it turned out. I'm really pleased with my leaves. I most of the time I have a hard time coloring leaves, so this was a good practice. Now I'm coloring, or I'm planning to do the background in this book that is Party by Hannah Carson, and I plan to color this page for my birthday. And today I'm going to work just on the background, and I'm planning to use acrylic paints. The first thing that I want to do for the technique that I'm going to be doing on this page is separate the background with the foreground. And I'm trying this technique for the second time. First time I used masking fluid to mask the illustration, and it came out really badly. It was a disaster. So this time I wanted to try. I did some research, and I know that masking fluid and acrylic paints don't react good together, but I had a recommendation of using maybe washi tape to cover the illustration instead of using another medium. So that's what I'm trying here, and I'm using the washi tape over the outside part of the bunny and the cake, and I'm using this X-Acto knife or precision knife. This one is one that while you're cutting it rotates and makes everything easier. So that's what I'm using, and I'll be doing the exact same thing for the whole illustration, and then I'm going to use some more washi tape to cover a little bit more inside of the foreground, just in case to prevent any paints on top of them. Now that I have everything as I wanted to, I'm showing you the acrylics that I'm using. I'm using this brand of Liquitex basic acrylics, and I have all these shades. I'm planning to do a gradient going from yellow to blues and dark blues. And first I'm going to be using this paper plate and I'll use it as a palette. I use it because it's really helpful. I don't need to wash anything. I can just throw it away. And I'm using a little bit of product. I don't need really much because this page is not big at all. And I'm adding a little bit of water and mixing it with all of the different colors that I have, just to make it a little bit more softer, if you can say, or runnier or light, and that will make my blending process even easier. Now I'm showing you the colors. The first one is Cerulean Blue hue, Pines Gray, if that's how you call it, Turquoise Blue, Yellow Oxide, and Naples Yellow hue. And as I'm using white of the Americana brand Deco Art, and I like to use these paints. I'm also using a dabber or a sponge, a little sponge, to apply the colors. So I'm going to be using the sponge dabbing on the paper. I'm trying to show you that with my hand, but I'm starting from a lightest color. I'm going to my darkest. And the good thing, what I wanted to say about these paints, what I'm using them, is because I like the texture. They have a more satin look at the end when they are dry. They don't dry super fast, but they do dry fast, not as the other acrylics like the Deco Americana brand. They dry a little bit slower, so you have the opportunity to blend them with other colors easier. So that's why I like to use it, and because of the texture. And I'm using two different tools for this technique. I'm using, let me see, circle foam paint brushes, small size, and then I'm using some daubers that I found on my regular art supply store, that is Michael's, for the ones that live here in USA. They are really small, really tiny, for small dots, if that's the look that you're going for it. But before I did this second page, first time that I tried it, I did it with the finger sponges that I show you on my how I do backgrounds, and they were just the same. You can I was just trying to see which one was the different in between tools. But here I'm intercalating in between sponges. I'm using the little one and I'm using the large one, and I'm blending the colors to do a nice gradient. And I'm going to a darkest shade, and I'm trying to introduce some clear dots in between shades, just because I want to create this kind of bokeh effect. And something that I forgot to tell you is that I use washi tape on the opposite page to prevent anything going to transferring to the other page. And I did the same thing at the back of the page. At the back of the page I put some washi tape around. That's why you're looking like a border of washi tape. I did it on the back because I can be really messy while I'm coloring or doing something with paint. And when I did the first layer, I let it dry and I just wait like 5 minutes to be dry enough, and then I come back with my darkest shade because I saw that it was kind of with some spots that were not clearly covered with paint. And I came back with the white to make some more highlights on the background and to make some random dots more clear around of light. And yeah, that's what I did. And then the most satisfying part, taking the washi tape off. This took me a little bit because you need to be careful, really careful to not, I don't know why, but this paint can come off if you peel the masking tape. But if you do it really carefully, you can have a really clean look at the end. You just need to be really careful and patient while you're taking all the masking tape or the washi tape off. Those are my coloring updates, if you can call it like that. That's what I've been working on in this last September, and I really want to show you the page, how this page turned out with the background, because I really like the result. But it's going to be on my next coloring completed pages video for September, so stay tuned and wait for that video because I'll be recording that soon. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. Take care. Leave me on the comments if you have any questions or something that you would like me to explain to you. If you would like to see a more detailed video for this background, because I really like how it looks on pages. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care and bye.